We've got a few minutes to settle in and get ready for our yoga flow class today. It is Friday, the 31st of July, and this is a yoga flow class. If you need to modify these classes in any way for yourself, by all means, do it, all right? If you want to get blankets ready, I'm just checking lighting and sound, and if you see any problem, let me know. I will see if I can fix anything. So just take your time to get your blankets, if you have bolsters, if you have blocks. You know, if you don't have blocks, you might, if you're going to continue online classes, consider ordering yourself some. I've been meaning to tell, some people have asked me what kind of blocks I have here at the studio, and they are the best blocks in my opinion. I just really like Hugger Mugger blocks. You can get them at Hugger Mugger, and they have their own website. I think you can get them probably through Amazon too. So if you need some support there, get your blocks. Get your mat all ready. Remember, I am, especially if it's the first time you're watching, I am turned differently than when you come into class here at the studio. I've turned my mat sideways to try to just give people a little bit better view. It's harder when you're looking at a screen, obviously, so just bear with me. I'm still trying to make little adjustments. I will adjust the camera as well, and I believe I told everybody yesterday at least that I've ordered a microphone so that it will be a little bit louder. If it's obnoxious, I won't use it, but I would like to try to have my voice be a little bit louder. I know it's harder. I had Lisa tell me today that it's harder to hear on her computer than on her phone. You know, so it depends on your device. I know that too. So I will just keep tweaking things. Any suggestions you have would be really appreciated. At this point, I'm still planning to do online classes next week at the same time as I'm doing live classes in the studio. Depending on what happens here in Norman, in our county with the numbers, you know, there's a chance I'll put off the live classes. I don't want to do that, so if I can have them, and even if I have 2 or 3 people who really want to come into the studio, I understand, but I also don't want to take any chances, so I will send out an email if I decide not to have the in-person classes. But if you do want to come to the studio and take class with a mask, you need to let me know and reserve a place, all right? So reserve a spot by either texting or calling me or email me so that I know that you're interested and will come to a class, because I'm only going to have those 7 spots so that we can social distance in the studio. So just be mindful of letting me know as soon as possible, and I'll let you know whether there are any openings in the class too. So let's do some yoga. Feels better and better. So let yourself sit comfortably, and whether you're stretching your legs long or sitting cross-legged or up on a blanket, take your time. Let yourself lengthen up through the top of your head, gently allowing your eyes to close. And accepting your breaths now, in and out through your nose. Actually, let's balance ourselves out a little bit with a little bit of alternate nostril breathing. So bringing your right hand up, whether you put your pointer finger and middle finger onto between your eyebrows on your forehead, or fold your fingers down onto the base of your thumb. Let your thumb be there to touch the right side of your nose and your ring finger to touch the left side. But So just close your eyes and breathe in and out through both sides of your nose, a couple of nice full breaths. And then let's all take a nice inhale. And then let your thumb touch your right nostril and exhale through the left side. And then inhale through the left side. Open the right, ring finger touches left, exhale through the right nostril. And then inhale through the right nostril. Open the left, the thumb touches the right, you exhale left. And then you inhale left. Open the right, ring finger touches, exhale right. And inhale through the right. Just switch so you can exhale through the left. And inhale through the left side. Switch and exhale through the right side. And inhale right. And switch and exhale left. And then release your hand on down. Let your hands go to where it's comfortable, lengthening upward now. And then just feel the breath coming in and going out through both sides of your nose. And on your next exhalation, let your hands come to meet there in front of your chest, right in front of your heart. And let's inhale the hands right up through the midline, keeping them together, so only go as high up with the hands as your shoulders allow. And on the exhale, bringing them back down through the midline to in front of your chest. And again, inhaling the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, bringing them right back down through center. And let's inhale the hands over towards the front of your left shoulder. And as you exhale, bring them back into center. And then inhale, bringing them over in front of your right shoulder. And then exhale, coming on back into center. And let's unfold our arms on down beside us and inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Unfolding our arms here now, let's start to make circles with our torso. So easy little circles, letting your breath carry you. So letting your exhalations bring you forward and your inhales bring you back a little bit. So you keep your back nice and long. So think about like letting the torso be as one piece as you come into these circular motions, just continuing in the same direction. Letting those exhales bring you forward and the inhales bring you back. And we're going to stop in reverse directions. So when you're ready, letting yourself come off in the other direction. Again, feeling the breath move the body here. And then we'll finish off the one that we're on. Come on back up to center. And then come forward into a seated forward bend. If you're cross-legged, flex your feet. Feel the outside edges of your feet coming into the floor. Stay up pretty high with a long back. Let yourself really engage by pressing into the feet a little bit, feeling your hips. And then walk over towards your left so that you come out over your left thigh. And then we'll come on back through center and we'll walk out over our right thigh. And then we'll walk back into center again here now. And making our way back up. We're going to switch the cross of the leg. So if you were cross-legged, let yourself bring your other leg in front. Take your time. Get yourself seated comfortably for your own hips. And we'll come into those circular motions again, right? So it doesn't matter which direction you start. Just keep going in the same direction. Keeping that length. Letting your exhales bring you forward. And your inhales bring you back. We're going to go in the other direction, so you stop where you choose. Remember, these circles can be as small or as big as you like. So what feels really good to you, whether it be small circular motions or getting bigger and bigger if that feels good. Next time that we end up forward, let yourself stay forward, not very far, just so that you keep that long back. You're flexing the feet. Feel whatever part of your feet are touching the floor, whether it's your heels if your legs are long or the outside edges of your feet. And then we'll walk over towards the right thigh, just coming here into a little bit of release there through that left side waist, and then come on back into center and over to the other side. And then we'll come on back into center, and let's walk our hands back beside us, and inhale the arms all the way out and up overhead. And exhale, bring our hands right down together in front of our hearts. Clasp your hands together here now. Send your palms forward as you interlace your fingers. Feel the hands coming right out from the chest. And then we'll inhale the arms up. Now, whether you need to stop here, or come all the way directly up with the arms, hands overhead is up to you. So try not to lift the shoulders up, release the shoulders down as you press up into the heels of the hands, engage the belly. And then let's release over to our left, coming into a side stretch for the right side of the body. And just be easy, you know, if you need to look down because that releases your neck due, or forward, or maybe you like to look up. And then we'll come on back into center and bend the elbows a little bit if you need as you press off in the other direction now. Again, just let your head do what feels really good for your neck. You may want to experiment a little bit. Look forward or down or up. Let it feel good. One more breath. And then we'll rise back up. And let's bring our hands right down behind our head. And just gently press now into your hands here with the back of your head. Really easily feel the belly engaging. Feel the length upward through the crown of the head. And then we'll unfold our arms on down beside us here now. And we're going to come around towards our hands and knees. So coming on around, if you need a blanket underneath your knees, by all means grab one so that you have that blanket there under your hands too, if necessary, for your wrists, or come onto fists if you need to. And then just start to move through your cat-cow. So letting the tailbone initiate, waking up the spine here now, easily flowing through. Letting your exhales draw you into your cat pose, and your inhales bring you back through to cow. Now, you can breathe the total opposite. Now, if you want it to feel a little bit differently, you can inhale when you draw up into cat, and exhale when you move through to your cow. And it does change. Definitely change the feeling, moving through with the breath in the opposite. So finish off the one you're on, and come back to more neutral. And we're going to send our right foot behind us on the floor, curl the toes under. So engage the belly, press into your feet, that inner heel back there, press into your hands equally. And then float the leg up parallel to the floor. You can reach your left opposite arm forward if you choose to. If you feel better to keep your hand down, do. Think of the toes pointing down towards the floor, that right foot. And then bring your hand back down. We're going to swing this right leg out beside us so that we try to think of coming onto the whole foot on the floor with the toes facing forward, facing the front of your mat, really. So that you really get into your inner thigh stretch there. You can shift your hips back a little bit if that feels better. Take your time. Find that inner thigh there. So if it feels good to shift a little bit to find more, do it. We're going to come on back. We're going to swing that leg on back, over and through. Look behind, over your left shoulder towards that right foot back there. The toes are curled under. And you'll find a nice stretch through the right side of the body there. And then we'll come on back with the knee down. We're going to switch legs. Left foot comes back. Curl the toes under. Press into the heel there. Engage the belly. Zip up your belly there. Feel equal, pressing down into your hands. And then we'll float that leg up parallel to the floor. If you want to release the right arm forward, you can, coming into that balance. If not, let the hands stay down. Think about engaging your belly here. And then we'll lower the right hand down. We're going to bring that left foot up to the side. Now, it can come up as high as being, you know, in line with your fingertips, your toes in line with your fingertips, or it can be lower. It just depends on how your hips and your hamstring, your inner thighs feel. So shift your way back if that helps you find a little bit more, or go ahead and keep your hips right there, your right hip over your right knee. Just let yourself enjoy and breathe. And then we'll bring the leg on back around and across behind you so that you come to your toes here and you're looking over your right shoulder at your left foot back there, and you can just press into the foot there, really finding that release through the left side of the body. And then we'll come on back down here, and from here, come one more time into a couple of cat-cow poses. Let yourself release there. And then come on back to neutral. Let's curl our toes under and shift back. Now, if you can let yourself just lift your knees up and bring them back down a little bit, just to work through your feet. If you're comfortable to actually keep your toes curled under and sit up on your heels, go right ahead for it. If that's too much in your feet, then do these little movements where you lift your knees up and then bring them down, back down to the mat, so that you get your feet to find a really nice stretch through the bottoms of the feet there. And then bringing the knees back down. We're going to step forward with our left foot and find a lunge. So, you can use your blocks. Coming on into that first lunge, you can have any height you want underneath your hands, blocks or floor, or if you feel like you need a coffee table in front of you, use it, or a chair seat, all right? So take your time, line up that front knee, feel the feet gently pressing away from each other, engage your belly. And we're going to switch legs. So bring that right foot forward, coming into that alignment there, really finding that alignment of that front knee. Imagine your inner left thigh reaching up towards the ceiling and your front inner right thigh dropping down towards the ground. Find length in the back of the body, engage the belly. And we're going to switch again. Now from here, we're going to think of lifting up. You don't necessarily have to lift all the way up, right? And you might want to come up higher on your blocks or even widen your feet out a little bit if you want to think about bringing your hands up to your thigh, letting yourself rise on up here into a high lunge. So take your time. You don't need to come up. Keep the hands down if you need to. You can rise your arms up overhead if you choose, or keep your hands to your heart. And then we'll release to bring our hands on back down. We're going to switch legs again. So right leg is forward. Again, you might want to separate your feet a little wider. Even if you just come up with one hand, let yourself try to bring a little bit more into your legs, whether you lift up into this high lunge or not, or keep yourself down. So find where you can be, opening up through the front of that left hip there. And then we'll come on back down. And we'll step forward, coming into Uttanasana here, standing forward bend. So take your time, bend your knees if you need, walk a little bit. I'm going to adjust the camera a little, so stay in your forward bend. Let yourself take your time. Enjoy coming into releasing into your standing forward bend. And then we'll rise on up. We're going to inhale the arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. So finding your mountain pose, adjust yourself how you need. Walk in place if you need to. Look at your feet, shift around a little bit if that feels good. And then feel the feet there into the floor equally as you bring your gaze on forward and out, as though you're looking at the horizon. Whether your eyes are open or closed. Really feel the hands lightly together so you can feel that connection between each of your fingers and your thumbs, but let it be very light, very easy. Feel lightness in your head, like your head is floating in the clouds, but you're very grounded through your feet. And then we'll unfold our arms on down beside us. And we'll inhale the arms all the way out and up overhead. And on the exhale, we're going to come forward into that standing forward bend. Keep a long flat back. On your next inhale, come into that nice tabletop flat back. Hands wherever you like. And we'll step the right foot back and come into lunge. And inhale. Exhale into your downward facing dog pose. So be mindful. Take your time as you come into your first dog. Use your blocks if you need to. Feel your elbows softly hugging towards each other. Walk your dog a little bit. And on the next inhale, we're going to come on out to plank. So take your time here now, nice and strong. Try not to drop into the belly, but keep those sitting bones reaching for the heels. And we're going to lower down. You can put your knees down first if you choose. Elbows right by the ribs. And let's come into a Sphinx pose. Bringing the elbows under the shoulders. Spreading your fingers nice and wide. Bringing your gaze there to between your hands. And just feel that nice openness through the front of the body. Keep the belly gently engaged. Try not to overly grip in the buttocks here. But you still want to keep your belly engaged and find length in the back body. We're going to lower down. We're going to come back into down dog. So reaching your way back into downward facing dog pose. Walk a little bit. And we'll bring the right foot forward and come into lunge. And then we'll step all the way back into our standing forward bend. And let yourself be easy here. Whatever works for you. Support so that you can have your hands or your forearms or your elbows above your knees. You can use your blocks under your hands. You can fold all the way forward if you choose, but remember, you don't want to lock your knees. If you can get that sense of gently lifting upward with your thighs, creating space in your knees without locking, and leaving even the knees a little bent is good. And breathe, full deep breaths, all the way in, all the way out. So stay with your breath, all the way through to the end of the inhales, and all the way through to the end of your exhales. And then we'll release our hands back up to our hips as we bend our knees and press into our feet and rise up. We'll inhale the arms up overhead. And on the exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Let's inhale the hands right up through the midline. We're going to come forward, stop at a flat back. So your knees are bent. You're like parallel to the floor. Really let yourself feel your tailbone reaching back. And then bring your hands to meet in front of your chest. And we're going to twist to our right, bringing our left elbow towards our right knee. And then we'll come on back into center. And we're going to twist the other way, bringing our right elbow towards our left knee and letting yourself come into that twist. And then we'll come on back into center. Stretch your arms out nice and long like airplane wings. See if you can bend your knees a little deeper. Shift your weight to your heels. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, folding forward. Inhale into that long back. And we'll step the left foot back and come into lunge. And inhale. Exhale into your downward facing dog pose. Good. Walk a little bit. Let yourself just be easy. If you like to move your tail around a little bit, do it. And then we'll come on out to plank. Now, if you can, stay in this plank and see if you can bend your right knee down towards the mat and then come back like you're walking your plank. Do the other side. Left knee comes down and back up. Right knee down again. Stay real strong in the core and then left knee down again. And from here, we're going to lower down. So if you like to lower your knees and come through a half push-up do or through a full, then we'll come into a little cobra. Let your hands float up for a second. Make fists with your hands and circle your hands a little bit. And then bring the hands back down. Now, if you want to go up higher, do. Otherwise, stay right here in your cobra or lifting on up higher if you choose, letting yourself come up higher into your cobra pose. And then we'll release to come back down. We're going to make our way back to down dog, whether it's through hands and knees or a half or a full push-up. And we'll bring the left foot forward to find lunge. And then we'll come on back into our standing forward bend. Full deep breaths. Let your hands go wherever they want to go. If you like to clasp them, up on your low back, do. If you like to use your hands for support, feel the weight of your head if you can. And now let go of your jaw. Think about releasing through your jaw, your face. Imagine relaxing your throat. And then we'll bend our knees. We're going to press into our feet equally, rise on up, and inhale our arms out and up overhead. And on the exhale, coming down with the hands to come into mountain pose. We'll move through a couple of sun salutations with our breath here now. So let your breath carry you. Release your arms on down. And let your inhale rise them on out and up. And your exhale will bring you forward. Let your inhale help you find that long back. Exhale, right foot back to lunge. And inhale, exhale, downward facing dog pose. Let your inhale bring you to plank, and let that exhale be what lowers you. Inhaling into your cobra. And exhale back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale, right foot forward to lunge. Inhale. Exhale, standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising up, inhaling the arms up. And on the exhale, we'll fold forward. Inhale into that long back. Exhale, left foot back to lunge. And inhale. Exhale, down dog. Let your inhale carry you to plank. Your exhale will lower you down. And inhale into your cobra. Exhale, back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale, left foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale, standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising up again, all the way up to the top. And on the exhale, folding forward. Inhale, find your long back. And we're going to come into down dog. So walk or jump yourself back. Coming into your downward facing dog pose. Walk a little bit if you need to. Actually, come forward a little bit. Look at your hands. And think about your pointer fingers being about parallel to each other. Bend your elbows a little bit, hug them in. And then reach back, that same feeling of the elbows hugging in towards each other. Feet a little closer together. We're going to lift the left leg up in the air behind us. Three-legged dog. Toes are facing down, hips are square. And then bend that knee and open the hip. So imagine, you can even turn to look underneath your left arm. Imagine somebody's pulling that knee up on a diagonal line. Really let the right heel descend towards the mat. And then we'll turn back to square the hips. We're going to bring that left foot on forward and through. We're coming up for warrior one. So letting that back foot turn out 20, 30 degrees. Bringing the shoulders now around square to the front of the mat. Let's release our arms right out beside us and turn the palms down. Let your arms be in a T position. Get your knees straightened out there, right where you want it to be, right out over the center of the foot. And then we'll bring the arms on down and reach the arms forward and up. Totally optional to interlace your fingers, send your pointer finger up. You can keep your hands apart. Let yourself really enjoy here. Finding that sense of openness through the front of the body in your warrior one. Inhaling up the front of your body and exhaling down the back of the body. One more breath. And then we're going to release our arms. We're going to bring our hands behind us and we're going to fold, bow forward over this front inner thigh here. Now how far you go is up to you. You may want to stay up and just let your head and your shoulders come forward, or you may want to fold all the way forward over your inner leg. Now you can take your hands off your back if you want to. If you want to add to your shoulders, let yourself do what feels good there. And then release, hands down. We're going to find lunge, releasing that right heel directly behind us now so that we can add a twist. You're welcome to put a block underneath your right hand. Left hand can come to your left hip, to your low back, or you can stretch the arm up overhead. Now I know some of you might want to adjust a little bit and come up into that, bringing your elbow across to your knee into twisted prayer in your twist. So you find what works for you. Find that sense of length throughout the body here. And then we'll release and come on back to lunge, and we're going to make our way back to downward facing dog pose. Walk to the tops of the feet a couple of times. You're on your own. You can come out for a plank and move through for a back bend if you choose, or put your knees down if you'd rather, right? So if doing some flowing here feels good to you and doing some vinyasas, you can. Otherwise, don't. Put your knees down if you need to and rest. Good. And we'll finish off. Meet back in downward facing dog pose. And from here, we'll bring the right foot up behind us. Let yourself square your hips, three-legged dog. And then bend the knee and open the hip. You really feel good about that. Let yourself enjoy. And then we'll square the hips again. We're going to bring that right foot forward. We're coming up for warrior one. So setting up your stance the length you like, mindful of that front knee, bringing your hands to your heart. Feeling that fullness of the left foot fully into the floor back there. And then release your arms straight out from your shoulders. So again, feel the palms facing down, reach out through the fingertips. And then we'll lower the arms down and rise them forward and up overhead. If you and feel really comfortable to interlace your fingers, do. Let yourself come on in. Hands can be apart, you know that. Arms can be more forward. Depends on your shoulders. And then we're going to release the arms on down. Clasp your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers. Fold forward. Again, maybe just a little bit, dropping your head. Maybe you like to bow all the way over your inner thigh. And if your arms want to come off your back, your shoulders let you do that, go right ahead. And then we'll release to come down with the hands, finding lunge. Remember, we're adding a twist. So if you want to add or block underneath your left hand, do right hand to your right hip, coming into that twist. So hand to the low back, leveling off there in the hips. You can stretch the arm up if you want. And then, of course, if you like to bring your elbow across to your knee, you can bring your hands into prayer, coming into your twist there. So you decide what twist feels best for you. And then we'll come on back down with our hand. We're going to make our way back to downward facing dog pose. Once you're in down dog, walk just a little bit. And then let's bring our knees down. Shift back to child's pose for a breath or two. So just release here. You can put your forearms under your head if you want. You can let yourself stay with your arms soft overhead or bring your arms back alongside your legs. You don't have to go all the way, you know that. Pay attention to your own knees and hips. Let yourself breathe. Good, and then we'll bring the arms back overhead. Come on back up to all fours and then to downward facing dog pose. And we'll come out for a plank, nice and strong. And see if you can come into an up dog. If not, don't do it. You can move yourself through to up dog, either putting the tops of the feet on the floor, lifting the knees up, or curling the toes under and lifting the knees up. And then we'll come on back to down dog. Good. We're going to bring our left foot forward, and we're coming up for warrior two. Have your blocks handy here in case you need them. Let yourself line up those heels. Bring your arms on up and out. Flex your hands for a second. Press out into the heels of the hands as you look at the back of your left hand there. And just be easy. Be mindful. Let it feel good. Press the feet gently away from each other. And then we'll turn that left palm up. We're going to inhale. Slide your right hand down your right leg a little bit, but give yourself support to come into this reverse warrior. And then on the exhale, we'll come into side angle. So either your left hand or your forearm onto your thigh. Turn to look at the floor and let your right arm just swing back and forth a little bit. Feel the weight of that arm. Really let it just swing forward and back. And then swing the arm up by your ear. Pinky is facing down. And we're going to start to open into side angle here. So as you come into your extended side angle, turn that right pinky down towards the floor. If your shoulder bothers you, don't do this at all. You know that. Just be mindful. Enjoy finding that sense of the outer left hip drawing back, belly engaging. One more breath. And we're going to turn into lunge, and you may want your blocks here. Coming into your lunge here, we'll walk our hands towards the inside of that left front foot. Turn your left toes out just a little bit towards the corner of your mat there. Not a big turn out. And you can decide from here if you want to go down lower. You can come down with your forearms onto blocks stacked, or as low as you want to go. One more breath here. And now we're going to lower the back knee down to the floor. And again, you decide. Do you need to be up higher? Maybe you feel like, I want to lose blocks entirely and come down onto the floor. Maybe you want to stack your blocks up higher, right? So that you can release your hips here. So pressing into the top of that right foot there, really letting yourself enjoy opening through the front of that right hip and releasing into the outer left hip. We're going to come up, and you may want your blocks for this one. We're going to shift our hips back and come into a straighter left leg here and ease our way forward with a nice long back to feel the hamstring of our left leg. Now you may feel better to stay right up over your knee with your right hip here, or you may feel like it feels good to shift back, right, with your hips. You go where it feels really good for you to find the best stretch. And just breathe. Now, I know some of you like to come a little more towards a split. If you want, you can shift your hips a little forward. Keep your hands to support you, right? You can shift as far down as you want to go towards a split. You've got control by having your hands there on the blocks or the floor, but just take your time. Let yourself find a release that feels good for you. And then we'll come on back. We're going to bring our knees on back, and we're going to make our way back to down dog. So bringing the arms out overhead and then coming on back into your downward facing dog pose. Optional vinyasas, coming if you like. You can go through chaturanga and come up into a back bend or not. So take your time. Move how you need. Rest if you need. Knees down. And we're going to meet back in down dog. We're going to bring the right foot forward. We're coming up for warrior two. Lining up our heels. Take your time to get that front knee aligned. Rising the arms up and flexing through your hands. Pressing into the heels of the hands, looking at the back of your right hand there. And then go ahead and let the hands come flat so the palms face down. Feet pressing away from each other. And then letting the left hand come down to your leg back there. Turn the right palm up. Slide the left hand down a little bit to give you support. Into your reverse warrior. And on the exhale, we'll come to side angle. Either your hand or your forearm down onto your thigh. Look down at the floor and start to swing that left arm forward and back a little bit. Feel the weight of your arm. Let it feel kind of like a pendulum back and forth. And then swing the arm up into line with your head, with your ear. Turn the pinky down, the thumb up. Press into your right hand or forearm as you open into side angle here, extended side angle. Pinky turns down if you have that arm up. Take your time, breathe. One more breath. And we are going to turn to face the floor. You may want your blocks. Remember, we're going to walk our hands as we come to lunge to the inside of that front right foot. Let the toes face a little bit out towards the corner of your mat there. And take your time. Now, with the knee up in the back, you might want to stay up high. Or you may feel like, I can go down to forearms on my blocks stacked. You know, you can do two blocks stacked up, or you can stay up with your hands, doesn't matter. Now when you get ready to lower that back knee, just mindfully as you lower the knee down, and then again, you can be stacked up, you can stay up high with your body, or you can go down lower and lower if it feels good. Pressing into the top of the left toes back there, feeling that engagement in the front of the left hip, and then think about that outward rotation in your right hip here. You know, just be mindful. Don't push it. Let it feel really like a relief. And then we're going to come on up. We're going to shift our hips back as we bring our hands to either side of that front leg. Adjust yourself so that you can flex the foot and come out over that front leg. Coming into your hamstring of your right leg. Heel of that right foot is drawing back towards your sit bone so that you're engaged as you're stretching the back of your leg there. Keeping the back nice and long if you can. And of course, sliding or not into that split, totally up to you. If you like to let yourself come into more of a split, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, everybody's not built to do splits, and it doesn't even matter whether you stay up way high and kind of explore that prospect or go a little bit lower. And then we're going to come on back, bringing our knee on back. And we're going to come back one more time to down dog. So last time, to feel like if you want to move through some vinyasas or flow a little bit, whether you come through chaturanga or not, you can. So finish off the one you're on. Come on back to down dog. Walk your feet wide around the mat, like they come towards the outside edges of your mat. Bend your knees, walk your hands on back. Now you can either just hold your elbows and hang here. You can rest your elbows above your knees and keep the length of your back. You can, if you decide you want to, bring your hands back around behind your ankles and hold on the outside of your ankles through your feet. You can shift the hips down towards the floor if it feels good to you. You can bring your hips down, right? So you take your time, be mindful, let it feel really easy. And we're going to let ourselves then bring our hands forward so we can walk our feet right underneath us, hips distance apart and parallel. And then bend our knees, press into our feet. Coming on up to standing, we'll inhale the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, bring your hands down together in front of your heart, finding your mountain pose here. So really let yourself feel the body calming down, the breath calming down. Imagine you're breathing in and out through every pore of your skin here for a few breaths. Maybe even feeling the beating of your heart. And we'll go ahead and unfold our arms on down beside us and shake out a little bit. Move around if you need to. Let's come into just a little balance. We'll work a little bit towards the eagle pose. I'm going to use the pole. Turn to where your left hand can be supported on something, maybe the wall, maybe your chair. Take your time. Let yourself be mindful there. And we'll come at first into standing on our left foot and crossing our right ankle above our left knee like you're in that figure 4. And then if you can, and this is different for everybody, you can always do your ankle in front of your ankle. If you can, sit back like you're sitting into a chair, so you open the hip a little bit more. And you're going to stay right there and hold on. You don't have to bring this into a balance. You can if you want. Bring your hands to your heart, or you can let yourself bring your hand back to whatever you're using for support. One more breath. And then come up, and now you may want to block over here. See if you can cross your thigh over your thigh for eagle pose. And maybe let yourself put the foot on the block if you feel like a lack of balance or strength right now and you haven't done these in a while, right? Shift your hips back. You can let yourself, if you want, hold on. You can bring your left arm over your right if you choose, coming into your eagle wrap. So take your time, let yourself just enjoy. And if you want to try the balance, where you don't use the block, you can flex the foot and work on your balance there. Or of course you can wrap your foot around behind if you're a wrapper, right? And you feel like it feels good to wrap your foot around. One more breath. And then we're going to come up. And we're going to shake it out a little bit before we turn around. And we'll come to the other side. So at first, you're on your right leg. You're crossing your left ankle above or below the knee, or across in front of the ankle. If you know your hips, you got to take it easy, right? Sit back. You don't have to go low. You can go really low if you want. You can stay up higher, work on balancing a little bit. You can go lower if that feels good. Take your time, make it feel like it's allowing your hips to release, right? And then we'll come up, cross the thigh all the way over, right? So that now, whether you put your toes on the block and let yourself come into your eagle there, where you're able to maybe release and come into right arm over left wrap of the arms. Or perhaps you need to keep holding on. If you want to wrap your foot around behind, you can. If you're a wrapper, you can wrap that foot. Just be really mindful of that knee you're standing on, right? And we'll come on up out of that. Good. Shake it out a little bit now. Walk around a little bit. Let it feel good. Let your legs shake out a little bit. Be mindful. And from here, we're going to come down onto our bellies on the floor. And I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit to do that. So let yourself come on down to the floor on your belly. Good. And then see if you can just release and bring your forehead down onto your hands stacked. And breathe into your low back. Let it feel really good. Good. And we'll come onto our forearms here now. We'll come into a forearm half plank or full forearm plank. So go ahead, interlace your fingers, send your pinky out. You can lift up with your knees on the ground or lift up to your full forearm plank. Engage your belly. Let it feel nice and easy to feel your forearms pressing into the floor. Elbows hugging in a little bit. Zipping up your belly. And then come down. Let's roll onto our left side, sorry. And let your left elbow be right under your shoulder. We'll do a little side forearm plank. So you can stay with your hips down, be perfectly happy right here, right? Or you can put your top foot, right foot on the floor in front of you, stretch your left leg long and lift up, which is a variation that's really a good one. Some of you might want to put your right hand behind your head and then curl your right elbow down towards your left fist and then come back up. Now you can do this in a full side plank too. So good luck with that. Taking your full side plank if you'd rather, staying in side plank, or adding, right, the curls. We're going to come down, come back through center, take a Sphinx here just for a couple of breaths. Let yourself come into your Sphinx pose. And then we'll come to the other side. So getting that elbow right under your shoulder. Bring your knees up a little bit. You can stay right here. Perfect, it's fine. Letting yourself to stay with your knees forward, pressing into that forearm. You're engaging your shoulder in a good way. You can, if you want to do the variation, put the top foot on the floor, lift up. You can put your hand behind your head. You can do those little curls if you want. You can do a full side plank, forearm side plank here. And then we'll release down, come back into center again. And now from here, bring your forehead to your hands, bend both your knees, and let your feet circle. Let your feet circle around so you move through your ankles. And then come back to your forearms, walk your knees on up. And let's come into a little dolphin pose here, right? So if you know you're more comfortable to stay in your plank, stay in your plank. If you're able to lift yourself up into dolphin, you can. Pressing into those forearms, elbows hugging towards each other. You may even decide you want to lift a leg up. If you do, you can. If you're doing one leg, put that one down and switch and go to the other side. Take your time and breathe. And then we'll release. Come on down, and we're going to make our way back towards pose of a child. So coming on that, knees apart. You decide whether you want your arms overhead or back alongside your legs. And let your breath expand your low back. So really feel the breath coming in to widen the low back. You know, if you feel better to turn your head to one side, you can. Just make sure you turn it the other way to even yourself out here for a breath or two. We're going to bring our hands back by our knees and press our way up. And we're going to turn on around and come on into sitting. Actually, stretch both your legs out here for a second. Stretch both your legs out. Let yourself shake them out just a little bit. And we're going to do a little cow face work, all right? So either a half or a full cow face. It's up to you. So your right leg is going to be long at first, and you're going to bring your left thigh over. Now, if you need to do the figure 4 like we did standing, do. If you're able to cross the thigh over so your knees are more in line, do. There's a half cow face legs, right? If you want to do full cow face, you fold that right leg up under you, and you're still attempting to get your knees kind of in a line, and your feet as well, right? But that's not, it's not exact. Just let it feel good. You want to feel like you're really opening here through your hips. Now, if you have this right leg long here, you're going to get a hamstring stretch too, right? A little more than focusing on the hip on that side. So whichever one you're doing, bring your right arm up overhead and then bend your elbow. Take your left hand, if you can let it come over your head and kind of give just a little bit of help there for your tricep. Do it for release. And then take your left hand around behind you, and you can decide if you want to try to work the hands towards each other or not. You don't have to. Just be mindful. You can come a little bit forward if possible, right? That's pretty deep, whether you're in the full or the half cow face pose. Try to keep your back long as you come forward so that you're not rounding into that middle and upper back. And then we'll come on back up. Take a breath, one more breath here, sitting up nice and tall. And then we'll release, let our arms come down. Inhaling here, and on the exhale, we're going to twist. Right hand comes around to the outside of the left knee or across or to the knee. And let yourself just release into that twist. And enjoy. Inhaling into the length of the spine. So when you inhale, imagine starting at the base of the spine and then traveling up your spine, creating all that space. And then as you exhale, maybe you can think about deepening into your twist a little bit more, not forcing. One more breath. And then use your belly to come on back around into center. And we're going to switch legs. Left leg comes long, kind of to the midline. Crossing again, if you need to do the figure 4, if it's too much on your hips, do the figure 4, where you just cross your ankle above or below your knee. Or you can cross over so the knees come more in line. Or you can fold that bottom leg up under you, or keep that left leg long, right? Sit up nice and tall. We're going to bring from here the left arm up overhead, and then bend the elbow. Let yourself reach up with the elbow. We're all different here. Whether your right hand can come up and get hold of that elbow or not is totally up to you. You don't need to do that. Just kind of gives you just a little added extra if it feels good in your shoulder. And then we'll bring the right hand around behind us and start to send these hands towards each other if we can. So coming into Releasing all the way up through the crown of the head. Only be where your shoulders allow. You don't have to go this far. You can just keep that right hand behind you low down. You can come forward if you choose. And then we'll make our way on back up. And we're going to unfold our arms on down beside us. Take a nice inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to twist. So your left hand now comes towards your right knee or to the outside. Lengthen up. Feel that inhale rising up from the base of the spine all the way up through the spine. And on the exhales, maybe deepening into that twist. One more breath. And then use your belly to bring you on back around into center here now. And just take a breath or two here, sitting up nice and tall. And then we'll release our legs on out in front of us. I'm going to turn so I have my heels on my mat and stretch our legs out. And we'll come into a little seated forward bend. You're more than welcome to sit up on a blanket, you know that. And think about as you send your inner thighs down a little bit and you feel your sits bones right there into the floor. As you exhale, imagine coming forward more from your low back. So you can come down as far as you want, right? Your hands can be on your legs, your shins, your ankles, your toes. You can have your hands supporting you up here on your thighs and not go so deeply. You can also bend your knees, right? If you're tight in your hamstrings and in your low back, it can help a lot to have that little bend in the knees. Maybe it'll enable you to go a little bit farther forward. So take your time. I know some of you may actually want to go ahead and really, at the end there, fold over into your forward bend. That is totally up to you. Just be mindful of your back, your hips. Feel the heels drawing back towards you a little bit so you're engaged here. And then we'll come on back. We're going to bring our hands now. You can turn your hands either out about 45 degrees. We're going to do a little reverse plank. Or you can turn your fingers to where the fingertips face your feet down there. And then you can lift yourself up. Now maybe just a little bit. You don't have to go far to feel a lot in this. You can bend your elbows a little bit. You can lift up higher into your reverse plank. You can look up to the ceiling if you want. Or if that bothers your neck, don't do it. And then we'll release to come back down. Turn your hands over a little bit. Let your head come forward. And release your wrist. Don't push hard. Just let them turn the other way so it feels good. Good. And from here, we're going to make our way down onto our backs on the floor. So come on down onto your back. Let yourself bring your knees into your chest and let them roll a little bit side to side. So just be really mindful. Take your time. And then keep your right knee into your chest and extend your left leg down long on the floor, flexing through both the feet. Good. Now just hold on the back of your right thigh and extend your right leg up. And you can keep the knee bent. I mean, some of you may want to reach up and get hold of higher up on your ankle or even hold onto your foot or do your big toe hold. And if you extending the leg out longer feels good, then do that. And just release the shoulder down towards the ground, that right shoulder, so that you're not tensing up. Try to let yourself feel the back body on the mat. And let's go ahead and open the leg out to the right. So it doesn't matter. You may want to go just a little bit. Stay grounded in your left side. You may decide you want to go farther. Remember, you can keep the knee a little bent. Hold on to the outside of the leg if you need to. Just be really mindful here. And then we'll come back up to the top, and we're going to bring ourselves into twist, bringing the leg across. Now, you might just want to hold the outside of your leg. You might want to go 2 inches and press the leg back in to your hand there. And that'll really fire up your IT band. You can go farther over. You know that. You can go as far over. The leg can be lower or higher. You can reach over and put your foot into your hand if you want to. And then we'll make our way back up to the top. We're going to bend that knee back into the chest. And we're going to switch. Left knee comes in, extend the right leg down long, flexing through the foot. Flexing both feet, pressing that left leg into your hands. And then hold behind your thigh, extend that foot up towards the ceiling. And again, whether you go straighter in your leg or not is up to you. You can kind of use your hands maybe to hug your thigh in closer. You can reach out for your foot or for your ankle, your calf. Let it feel good. Let that left shoulder release down. Stay grounded here in this right side. And then opening the leg on out to the left. So you come into that outward hip rotation. You can feel that inner thigh. Rotate the heel up a little bit of that left foot. Again, it doesn't have to be high. You can have your hand on the outside of the leg. And then we'll come on back up to the top. For that twist, if you want to put your right hand kind of on the outside of that left leg and push the leg like you're trying to bring it back where it was, that'll activate really in the outside of your leg. You can come further over if you choose, more into a twist. That is up to you as well. Take your time, breathe. And then we'll release and come on back. Bend the knee, bring both knees into the chest for a second. Let the knees either circle or come side to side, whatever feels best for your back. And then put your feet down to the floor. Let the knees come a little side to side. And then see what your body wants to do right now. Is there another pose? Another movement that you want to do? I mean, do you want to lift up into a bridge pose? Do you want to just send your feet in the air, do a little cross-country ski motion? Do you want to do a plow pose, right? Do you feel like coming into a little bit of a shoulder stand or a plow pose? I'm just going to let you have a minute or so here to enable you to come into what feels really good for you. And you know, you may go, what really feels good is Shavasana. So take your time. Let yourself move into whatever pose or movement that feels good. And just allow your body as it's starting to cool down and your breath is calming down and your heart rate. Just take your time. If you're stretching out for Shavasana, our final relaxation pose, remember it's very important that you get comfortable, and that is something different for each one of us. So if you need some support, you know how if you're here, I offer bolsters. At home you can roll blankets up to make your own bolsters or use pillows under your knees. Or if you feel like your chin pops up when you're lying flat on your back on the floor, give yourself a little blanket or a little pillow to give yourself support to release the back of your neck and throat. And then just get comfortable. If your arms or your legs don't feel like they're in the best spot to release, then move them and move them around a little bit. Maybe even let your head turn a little side to side. And start to enjoy feeling your body there on the floor, watching the wave of your breath coming in and going out. And whenever your mind wanders off, which it always does, just see if you can keep returning. Whatever helps you to bring your focus back to your breath, whether it's counting your breaths, thinking a word or a mantra as you inhale and exhale, whatever helps you. So I'm going to wish each of you namaste now and let you Stay for as long as feels really good for you in your Shavasana today, so that I won't come back on again. I'll see you next time we practice. Just give your mind and your body here these few minutes to completely and fully relax.